This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Andy Way joining us. He's the owner of his own company known as STL Trim, and he's a weight counselor and so much more. Hailing to us from beautiful St. Louis, Missouri, correct? Is that where you're from?
That's it. That's right.
Beautiful. Excited to talk to you about cutting edge science that meets personalized care. And we're excited here today to talk about all your knowledge and how you're helping so many people not only lose weight, but feel better about themselves mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's an honor.
Oh, well, thanks. So, Andy, let's just start off by getting to know you on a personal level. Where are you from? Let's talk a little bit about your life, your career, and how you got here.
That's a long story, but we'll keep it short. Originally from a small island in Savannah, Georgia, I kind of grew up like Huck Finn with a motor. I was just a coastal kind of river guy on the intercoastal, and ultimately lived on a sailboat on Lake Travis and served in
Wow.
the Navy overseas, and then wound up here in the Midwest to fish out of water. So. Uh,
Oh my goodness. And tell me a little about your background. So wait, on a sailboat. So there's the boating in your life?
Lots of boating in my life prior to St. Louis. So I definitely have a passion for the water for sure.
Nice. And tell me a little about your personal life and your personal journey. And, I want to get your background and then how you got into this field, or were you always in the weight loss field?
Not at all. I think that, yeah, I was always into fitness, kind of strangely as a kid. Even from the time I was 13, I was very kind of picky about my breakfasts and the food I ate, and I would exercise a lot, played a lot of sports, and I was definitely an athlete. And so was athletic and in shape for most of my life. But um, in my mid 30s, that kind of changed. As I got older, I was a single dad for 6 years, and my background's in real estate investing, and kind of found myself like a lot of people. You're parenting, you're working, and enjoying life. So soon I found myself kind of putting on some pounds, and that wasn't good. But just a little bit about my background there.
Good. And then let's talk a little about this, holy grail of weight loss, right? So, when did you start this company, by the way, to help those lose weight? I want to hear a little bit about that. And then we'll dive into how it works and this whole process, because you're internationally known and, people can come to you from no matter where they live, right?
That's right.
Awesome. So, tell us a little bit
Yeah.
more. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's what's most is interesting to me is that I have a family history of cardiovascular disease. And
Hmm.
cardiovascular disease is the number one killer of people on the planet. The number one cause is obesity. The good news there is that we can do something about it. Both my uncles had quadruple bypass surgeries, and my father just 6 years ago was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. So I had put on a lot of weight myself, and like a lot of us, had gone through this kind of diet and exercise roller coaster or the merry-go-round, right? Where you've tried this, you've tried that Whole 30, and I'd done Tough Mudders and 75 Hard and Whole 30. My wife's milling her own grain at home, all this stuff to to lose weight, and I could lose 20, but it'd always come back, and that just got really frustrating. I didn't know what to do, and so you combine those two pieces of the family background, my weight gain and challenges with weight loss. I knew I had to do something. And so late last year, I really kind of wrapped up a year with some clients and
Hmm.
found this opportunity and had a personal connection to really, diet, exercise, helping people with a mission of reversing the trend of deaths related to cardiovascular disease due to obesity. So I'm on a mission to really make a difference because it's
Beautiful.
personal to me.
Yeah, well, I read that over like 70% Americans, adults are actually considered obese or overweight, right?
Right. And it makes sense. We have a sedentary lifestyle. You kind of live to work versus work to live. We're trying to feed over 300 million people. We have a lot of processed foods they need to be shelf stable.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hidden sugars. And so if we're not moving and we have a lot of hidden sugars, and we're not putting all that sugar or energy to work, it's no wonder.
Yep, absolutely. And as you mentioned, cardiovascular disease, so many people, are dying from being overweight. There's also, diabetes, right, is another thing. And also being overweight does increase certain types of cancer, right? I mean, this
It
is
does.
serious stuff. We want to live our best lives. And I find since the pandemic, a lot of people, after they discover this anxiety and stress, and everyone was in the same boat, dealing with loss, realizing what can I do to turn my life around and make the best of it if I make it through this. And so many people, how to change career, how to be brave to do this. And so many people are now like, I'm getting my life back. I want to feel better physically, mentally, emotionally. Let's get help I need. And one of the biggest things is weight loss. And I'm excited to learn about the drug, which I don't even know the name of it, but it's the one everyone's talking about, the one that you're working with. What is it? It's GLP?
Yeah, GLP-1, and we use two, semaglutide and tirzepatide. One's a single protein, one's a dual protein.
Now, this has been around for a long time, helping patients with diabetes, right? So tell me how, first of all, about semaglutide, and then how, we all discovered this, and go over the process of what it can do for someone.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It was interesting to me when I learned more and more about it. It's been around for 20 years. It's not new. And these are peptides, which are the building blocks of proteins. These proteins exist in our bodies naturally. What science
Mm-hmm.
was able to do was just extend the life of them from, 5 and 7 seconds to days. That's why it's a weekly injection.
Got it. Well, that's what I didn't know. So what happens? You have to come in for an injection. Where does the
Yeah.
needle go? Give me the details.
Yeah, sure. Well, I like to track right up front when we meet with a client. I like to just get to know them. What brought them here? What's worked in the past? What have they tried in the past? What was hard? What didn't work? And get to know their lifestyle. And so I really take the time to get to know them. And when we do that, I have 100% success rate. When they walk in the doors, they become a client 100% of the time because they just can't. Because I relate and I've been there.
Yep.
Um, and then we really start by tracking their body. They meet with a doctor here, and we do virtual care. And so they fill out all their HIPAA compliant documents. They meet with the doctor when they get approved, if they are approved, and I'll screen all that up front. And then we really dig in to track their kind of their biomarkers and their biometrics so that we know what their baseline is, and we track progress over time. We also work with them so that they know what to do. We don't want them in the kitchen with a syringe and not knowing what to do with it. So it is an injection just kind of to the side of your, 2 inches to the left or right of your
Mm-hmm.
navel, and it's a weekly injection. And then we really work to track the progress over time with an advanced 3D body scan machine
Wow.
that yeah, it's we track their skeletal mass, fat mass, muscle mass, and all of the data that we collect is tied in with the World Health Organization. So we can even track goals or set goals on reducing probabilities of contracting various cancers, respiratory disease, or cardiovascular disease.
Well,
So
and
we
where do
really
we do these scans? What's the name of the scan? Is it only in office, or do you send people near
It's
them?
in our office. So we have ours is in advance, is within 1 degree of accuracy of a DEXA scanner, which is the gold standard in body scanning. But I think that, the biggest number there really is that body fat percentage. And we want that to be between 18 and 24.9%. That's the goal.
Amazing. Now, tell me more about the GLP-1, because is it tricking our mind, our brain into feeling full? Explain how it's working on so many.
Yeah, what it's doing is it makes us, when we eat, it slows the emptying of our belly, right? So we feel kind of satiated longer. And it's sending a signal to our, through the vagus nerve to our brain that, hey, I'm full. And it also, in our brains, it quiets the food noise. But it's not just food noise, it's all cravings. And so
Really?
that, yeah, I mean, that's for alcohol. That's for, right? I mean, we kind of have a boozy culture in the United States. We love our wine, we love our beverage. And so all things. So it's interesting and it's hard to describe what it's like, but if you had a craving for a burger, if you can, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get a burger. And you respond to the craving or a
Yeah.
slice of pizza or whatever it might be, that's gone. And so it's kind of like gives you the space to make a choice versus react to a craving.
Okay, by the way, I just gotta say, mention this weird. I have had a craving my whole life, and I do all the time for vinegar. No doctor knows why. I drink
Vinegar.
vinegar almost right now. I'm craving it. Now my mouth it's insane, and it hurts my stomach. Like red wine vinegar, white wine vinegar. I mix it with water and ice. I thought something's in my body is missing. Every doctor I go to says no, it's actually good for you because it thins your blood. But I have oh my God, it's already here now. Craving a vinegar, like I need it every day. I don't know why, but it
Fascinating.
hurts my stomach. No one, I mean, I'm not considered overweight, but I'm thinking if this could help stop a craving because it's so obnoxious because it's causing me pain, the crave. I'm not
They're
getting heavy from it, but it's causing physical pain at this point.
fascinating.
Wow.
They're doing studies now, or it's going through trials for approval for GLP-1 treatments, whether it's GLP-1 or GIP, whichever one of these. But the semaglutide's being evaluated to be approved for addiction, right? And a series of other. I think there's like a dozen
Wow.
trials right now. The trials have taken place, but the FDA is reviewing them for approval to be used for more than just weight loss.
Amazing.
Because that's one of the reasons why they're so popular is it makes you feel good.
And it was originally to
Swelling
help
goes
people with diabetes, right?
That's originally so, and it's still used for that, but it's all inflammatory related diseases. And so
Got it.
now, I mean, I know, I think her name's Dr. Nazar on the Today Show. She's the
Yes.
health consultant. I mean, she was talking about in their own clinic where they started to realize they've been treating clients for years with heavy medications, and something started to shift, and her medical team got together and they realized, oh, the difference is actually these clients are on medical weight loss medication and
Uh-huh.
the impact of all inflammation. It's not just, right? And so obesity impacts more than just cardiovascular, respiratory. It impacts a lot.
Amazing. Oh my
Fascinating.
goodness. Well, I'm excited here to be talking with Andy Way about health and wellness and excited to talk more about STL Trim and all they do because he's really guiding his clients and tailoring them for nutrition strategies and, of course, helping you achieve that weight goal and keeping healthy. And I know for today you want to, talk more a little bit about to access the trusted top quality resources, insightful biomarkers and metrics, you say, for goal setting and tracking. And of course, the engaged, caring support that your clients say, make them never feel alone.
Right. We're definitely a part of the journey. That's just kind of my heart, and it's one of the things that's one of our core differentiators is you're just going to feel us show up for you. We're not just a turnstile trying to get people medicated, and we really only use the medications as one kind of catalyst just to start winning. And then once you start winning, and seeing the pounds come off in a healthy 1 to 2 pound per week cadence, it's misleading, the cultural narrative. We see it all over in social media and other places where, 30, 40 pounds lost in 30 days. That's not healthy and it's not sustainable. It really only contributes to it's kind of a mixed message and it's not setting the right expectation for long-term sustainable weight loss, particularly when we're all frustrated with the merry-go-round because it comes back. And there's a key reason for that really most people, a lot of people aren't talking about.
hmm And let's talk a little bit about it if you don't mind. And
Yeah.
go ahead,
So one
continue.
of the truths, this is key for me. One of the truths that I find fascinating is the medical term's homeostasis.
hmm
We have set points. And I'm no doctor, and I don't pretend to be one, but we have set points. And so if you lose, so we have a weight set point, we have hormonal set points, we have brain set points, chemical set points, all kinds of them, gut set points. And when you lose, say you have a 40-pound weight loss goal and you lose 40 pounds, good job.
Yeah.
You don't hold that 40-pound weight loss for a year, you're going to be working against your body. Your
Wow.
brain has one job to do, and that's to keep you alive. And so it's acting like it's under attack, essentially. So because you just dropped all this weight, and it's like, well, I was alive and well at 40 pounds heavier. I was fine because that was my norm. If you lose that 40 pounds, that's your body's trying to get back to that norm. whether it's weight, chemical releases, all of the things are working against you. You have to hold that weight to reset all of those set points. And it will
Yeah.
not happen unless you hold that weight for a year.
Wow.
So it's fascinating. That's why our clients are typically with us for 2 years or longer.
Amazing. I was going to ask that too, how long it takes. And is it something you take forever, or do you eventually kind of wean off it? Does your body build your own ability, in a sense, to stop the cravings?
We really want to, part of another key differentiator for STL Trim is mindset. I spent over 7 years wholly immersed in studying mindset, experiential learning theory, and things of that nature, ancient wisdom practices. Wrote a book about it, became a best-selling author, and I bring that into the fold. What are the triggers, right? Is there any kind of past trauma that we're operating out of that
Mm-hmm.
maybe we're unaware of? And so that plays a role, but we want you to ultimately, be off the medication and really through the journey, we're raising awareness about some of the differences that we're experiencing and some of the new habits we're forming along the way. And then we really seed those habits in our awareness and in our daily practices and routines.
Got it. All right. Thank you for that. Well, this is groundbreaking, and I'm so glad that so many people are finally starting to receive the help that they deserve, that they need. And it's not their fault that they can't lose the weight themselves. Like you mentioned, it's sometimes genetics. There's your hormones, there's all stuff going on in our body. But I love how, like celebrities, this came out a few years ago when we were like Oprah Winfrey and all the people admitting to using these types of drugs, right? Not specifically, but wow, in conjunction with eating right, exercising, why not? It's here to help us. And you said it's approved by the FDA, right? So there's really no harmful side effects. I'm sure there's some, if you disclaimer, right? I don't know. It's not for everyone, but what are some of the qualifications of someone who's able to use this, by the way?
On a basic level, the doctors are looking for any conflict, and that's why the doctors are the doctors. But a BMI, a body mass index of 30 or higher, and it can be 27 or higher with pre-existing conditions, such as an example, like childhood obesity. So there's going to be some other markers there, but generally it's a body mass index of 30 or higher as a kind of a universal rule of thumb.
Got it. All right. Thank you for that. And also, let's continue the conversation. There's still so much more to be had and to be learned about this work that you're doing. And of course, those out there who could take advantage of this who really are in the need of help. And before I continue with that, if you don't mind, can I just ask, I know you mentioned your personal struggle, which is great that you can really empathize with these clients. You're not someone coming in who is working for a good cause and helping others, but you have been in this situation. And I love the fact that you talked about in your notes about your father, right? Your father has been a great mentor to you, right? Could you just share a little bit about him and, how he, you followed his way of becoming an entrepreneur, and here you are again, still in the entrepreneur field now helping others, even more so, except just finance, right?
Right. For sure, my father has always played a big role. I know that a lot of when people talk about, I'm definitely pro both parents, pro mom, pro dad, but I wasn't raised with my biological mom, and I'd go visit kind of twice a year. My dad just played a big role in my life. I looked up to him. He was an engaged father, um, and just was impactful in my life. And he was worked hard and was involved in the community. And I just, why not, made sense to follow in his footsteps and inspire to be more like him. Um, Always. I love my dad. And
Beautiful.
when he was diagnosed, I don't think that I really realized how much I was carrying around emotionally about it. But it wasn't that long ago, maybe a month ago. We're
Mm-hmm.
on the phone, and he's 6 years into a 5-year terminal diagnosis.
Okay.
And my father's 71 years old. And he goes, oh, kind of flippantly, I had my follow up with the cardiologist today. It's like, how'd it go, Pop? He said, well, he said, you can't reverse congestive heart failure, but I've all but done that. And he's like, I'm going to die at some point, but it won't be because of my heart. So,
Wow.
he changed his diet. He started not crazy, but he's just moving his body, doing some basic exercise. I mean, the guy eats ice cream every single night. So he just loves his ice cream. But it's more about portions what's sustainable and making some basic, simple choices. And he's moving his body, and he's happier than I've ever seen him. And now that's it. The doctor said if everybody did what you did, it wouldn't be a 5-year terminal diagnosis.
Wow.
So I'm inspired by that, and I think that's something for people to take away. It's not you're not doomed to that. You're not bound to that diagnosis. You're not bound to that outcome. And he proves that.
Amazing. Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we still got plenty more time to chat. And just reading more about the process, I think people would love to hear some, testimonials in a sense about how you're helping people. Could you share a client story or two as well?
Sure. I think some of what's really neat is this. We have great partnerships. We're an approved vendor partner with Thorne Nutrition. A lot of the United States, I think it's 80 or 90% of the United States are taking some sort of supplements. Key to know is that the right nutrition and the right supplementation, you don't know how much protein you really need. I need to take about 150 plus grams of protein a day. Yeah, I know that it's a lot of workout people at a heavy gym talk about protein, but literally perimenopausal women, menopausal women, that maintain that lean muscle mass is important. And so I'm really proud of that partnership with Thorne Nutrition. Thorne is all formulated, tested, backed by the Mayo Clinic. And so it's something that we put together recommendations to our clients. And then secondly, that scanner. There was a client, 3 months, been a client for 3 months. She's lost 30 pounds, which is actually feels like a lot when you're talking about a 1 to 2 pound per week weight loss
Hmm.
goal. But more importantly, what was interesting is in the scanner, I picked up that she had lost 4.5 inches off her right thigh and half an inch off her left thigh. And she loved to roller skate.
Oh, wow.
So I asked her, we'll call her Sarah. I said, Sarah, do you have an injury with your left leg? And I could just see that the measurement was odd, that one was 4.5 and one was half. She's like, I do. I said, do you push off? Do you always push off? I know you love to roller skate. Do you push off with your right leg? She said, I do. Can you push off with your left leg? Yeah. She was just completely unaware. And so things like that, when you are tracking biometrics, and sure enough, she's like, thanks for that. And she started to bring balance into how she used her body. I've seen that in a lot of ways. If we're out of balance, we can set ourselves up for injury through our posterior chain, our kinetic chain. And so I've seen that with a lot of clients where they were just unaware of some of their behavior. And when we look at the biometrics and what we're tracking, it kind of literally brings balance into their life, figuratively and literally.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we still have just a few minutes left in the show, Annie. I want to just make
Yeah.
sure we're covering everything that's important to you. What else did you want to make sure we cover for today?
I think the biggest thing is 1 to 2 pounds per week.
Okay.
Largely it's portions, right? As your key takeaways. You're
Okay.
not looking to crash diet and lose a ton of weight right up front. That noise is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we want to lose weight, but kind of the turtle wins the race here. Slow and steady, smaller portions, and you can probably have a little more freedom with what you're eating when you have smaller portions, higher protein. Carbs aren't the devil. You can eat them, just
Thank
use them,
goodness.
right? And I think at the end of the day, think of something like kind of carbs for cardio, protein for resistance, some basic rules of thumbs there. And it doesn't have to be an hour a day in the gym. I generally have just bands wrapped around the door handle there, just doing some stretching, some balancing,
No.
and grabbing some bands. And that makes a lot of difference. Do some air squats and things like that are just approachable because it can be difficult. And we get in our heads about going to the gym and being criticized or judged or looked at. Just grab some bands, move your body, and you can pay attention to protein is a big deal, specifically as we age.
Amazing. Amazing. All right. Well, we got to kind of start summing it up for today and would love to know how people can reach out to you and to get started. Do you offer like an initial consultation?
Sure, sure. They can always call me at the office. I'm here maybe more than I really want to be.
Of course.
but,
Of course.
but I'm at the office. I do love it here. They can always call the office at 314-455-TRIM. That's 314-455-8746. Or, hey, my personal email, andy@stltrim.com. You shoot me an email. Happy to just discuss what challenges you might be having, what your goals are. And we do have a virtual care model as well as the in-person clinic. So they could always look us up and we can lead you through that process, and happy to talk about what packages we have available for you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure getting to know you. Excited that you're here joining us and really passionate about helping so many. Andy, one more time, tell us the website.
www.stltrim.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Looking forward to our next conversation. We'd love to hear more. Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.